So I don't know about you, but I decided that I'm not doing the 9 to 5 ever again. Because when I worked the 9 to 5 life, I was very miserable. Very, very, very miserable. Whew. It's crazy to just think about it because I was that miserable. Oh my gosh. Drinking every day, feeling trapped, always broke. Gosh, always broke. And I'm not going to sit here and say that my money is where I want it to be, but it's a lot better than it was when I worked a 9 to 5. I hated having to ask for permission to take off, to go on vacation, to have a doctor's appointment, to have an early lunch. I hated it. I hated the way I was treated by management. I was disrespected. They talked down on me. But because I was so young and they were paying me so well, I just kind of put up with it, just dealt with it. But it got to a point where I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I don't know how so many people can live like that every day until they retire. And, there's no shade being thrown or anything like that. I'm just saying I couldn't imagine living like that. Every day before I clocked in, I would sit in the parking lot. I would literally just sit in the garage and just try to get my mind right. Sometimes I would cry, just, oh my gosh, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. I would be late clocking in because I was sitting in the garage for 30 minutes just trying to get my mind right before I walked in those doors. And there are lots of people where that's their daily routine every day for 40 years, 50 years, because they hate their job so much, but yet they don't think that they can do anything but their job because the job has good 401k match programs, good health insurance, great PTO hours. And I'm not going to lie, the job I had great benefits for a job. I don't remember what the 401k plan was. I don't remember that. But they did pay for your schooling if you wanted to go back to school because they were a university. So if you wanted to go back to school after a year of working there, you could go to school. You just had to work there for a year after in order to not have to pay it back. Um, Great PTO. Every 2 weeks, I accrued 10 hours of PTO. It's like they gave you just enough to where you knew you weren't going to get those benefits anywhere else, but you also knew that you weren't going to be happy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just kind of like they would just wave these benefits over your head. And if you're not smart, like I wasn't smart, you would just accept it because it's like, well, where else am I going to get these benefits? Great health insurance, right? But I wasn't doing anything that was fulfilling. I felt like a robot, just doing the same thing every single day. And it wasn't anything that was giving me purpose. Yeah, it was great to work in a transplant lab. Okay, sure. Great. It was cool to have a job towards my degree, right? I was a biology major, so now I'm working in a lab. Every day. You guys, you are worth so much more than your 9 to 5. And yes, we all have bills to pay. You're right. We all have to keep a roof over our head. We all have to feed ourselves and or our kids or family. We all need cars to get to and from. we do need health insurance, right? Especially if you or someone you know has to go to the doctor a lot for whatever condition they may have. I'm not denying any of that. But I do want to remind you that you can pay for those things without a 9 to 5. I just want to plant that seed in your head if it hasn't been planted. It's going to take a lot of hard work. I'm never going to sit here and tell you it's easy. I work more hours working for myself than I did when I had a job. Just keeping it real. Way longer hours. But the reason why it's easy to do that is because I'm doing stuff for me. It's mine. You tend to treat things differently when it's yours, right? You tend to love on it more when it's yours. Think about when you get a brand new car, that feeling, or even if it's not brand new, it's new to you. That feeling like, oh man, this is my car. Especially when you first get it, right? You're probably taking it for the car wash every day, vacuuming it out, making sure there's no trash. Maybe you're parking in the back of the parking lot because you don't want anyone to scratch up your car, right? It's just like a whole different type of feeling. Do you have that same feeling when you're renting someone else's car? No, because it's not yours, right? The love isn't there. The care isn't really there. You care just enough because you don't want to get charged for anything, right? You don't want them to come back and say, oh, well, you did this to the car. So you care just enough, but it doesn't hit the same, right? You don't love on it the same because it's not yours. It's not yours. But when it's yours, when it's yours, you show up differently. I show up way differently because it's my brand. It's my business. It's my content. It's my audience. It's my baby, right? My brand, my business is my baby. So I'm willing to work 18 hours a day. I'm willing to work on holidays. You guys, I haven't had a holiday off where I didn't make any content, didn't respond to any messages or comments, didn't do something towards the business since I've been a business owner. I don't know what it's like. I've never had the weekend off. I've never had a weekend off. And when I say a weekend off, I mean where I'm literally not in my phone looking at something that's for the brand. To not log in to my OnlyFans, no, I haven't. I don't know what that's like. But I don't care to because I've built this from the ground up. This is my baby. And so your hustle is different. It's also different when you have nothing else. See, when you still have your full-time job and you're starting your side hustle, for some of us, we can put the 9 to 5 on the back burner and really give our side hustle our everything, right? Especially depending on, your job's rules when it comes to being late or calling out. Some jobs just tend to be a little more lenient, right? And some jobs it's like absolutely not. But some of us, we can kind of finagle it and build our side hustle, right? But then it's some of us where it's like we literally treat our side hustle like a side hustle because it's a side hustle and that's not our bread and butter, so we don't give it the same attention. And when you don't give it the same attention that you give your 9 to 5, you're not going to get the results of that side hustle to be your new 9 to 5. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that when people get fired or they quit, it hits different because you have nothing else. Those 8, 9, 12 hours that you were putting into that job that you no longer work at are now going towards your business, your plan, your brand. So the hustle is different. But when you still have that comfort zone, right? You don't really care about your side hustle that much. You care sometimes if they're pissing you off on your 9 to 5, then you care for a little bit. But when things go back to normal, you tend to put that side hustle back in its place as just a side hustle. So it never blossoms into that 6 figure business that you want because you're not giving it 6 figure attention. Do you get what I'm saying? And again, I'm never going to tell someone to just quit their job. I'm never going to say that. But I do want you to recognize the level of hustle and the level of effort that you put in when you have your 9 to 5 versus when you don't. Right? I quit my 9 to 5. My OnlyFans was not making nowhere near enough money to pay my mortgage. But I had nothing else. So I grinded and I hustled and I put my blood, sweat, and tears into learning how to make it shake. And once I learned how to make it shake, I made it shake. And now with anything that I try to do, I put that same level of energy and effort because I know that's the energy and effort it needs to be in order to make it shake. Okay? So just know that you are worth more than your 9 to 5. And when your business, not if, when your business starts to really make money, you become your own 401k plan. You pay your own health insurance. And you can afford to do so because now your business is making the money that it needs to make to be able to afford the lifestyle. So don't think that the only way you're going to be able to retire is through a job, because that's not true. That's not true at all. You can create your own 401k plan and all the other benefits that your job has to keep you in line. Just wanted to throw that out there. Bye.